If you would, everyone, find your seat. We're going to get going here in a second. There we go. That was pretty quick. There he is. We're just waiting for Dave Juris to arrive, and then we can get started. So there. Outstanding, outstanding. Again, it's a true honor to stand before you today. It's after 29 years. I remember being here many years ago, and he's actually in the room, and I saw this deputy chief put his glasses on so he could read, and I said, I hope that never happens to me. But here we are, and here he is. So Captain Wilson will, or Deputy Chief Wilson will introduce you here in a second. But again, thank you for being here. It's a true honor to stand before you today. We're surrounded by the greatest examples of courage, compassion, and dedication. What you hear tonight is simply amazing, and I'm glad you get to take part of this with us. To the officers, the families, elected officials, and honored guests, thank you for being here to celebrate one of life's most sacred callings, I believe, and that's a life of public service. You know, the world offers comfort at every corner, especially in the United States. And these folks have signed up for a world that's not really comforting. It's a life of service. So thank you for being here to support that, and we get to recognize that tonight. Again, it's not just moments of bravery that we're talking about. It's the character behind the uniforms that we wear, the kind of faces of life that they see, the extraordinary human conditions that they find during their daily travels as a police officer or a police employee. They do it without fear, but they bring resolve. They find ways to address chaos, to restore peace. They do it not as a duty, but as a calling. The greatness that you get to see tonight lives in the actions of the men and women seated right next to you. They sometimes stand at the breach of doors and answer a cry of help when it most matters. To the families, you are the strength behind the badges. You carry the weight of each call, each shift, each late night waiting for a knock at the door. And to the community, thank you. Your trust, your prayers, your support, it fuels us. We don't take it for granted. To our elected officials and those who organized tonight's ceremony, thank you. Thank you for giving us space to pause, reflect, and honor this noble work. The evening reminds us of a tradition of great policing isn't built on one person. It's a culture of excellence, one that's been cultivated for decades here in Canton. And that tradition, the Canton Police Standard, as we call it, is not simply to enforce laws, but to bring peace where there is none, dignity where it's been lost, and safety where it's threatened. So tonight we celebrate just those things that I said, but the officers that you're sitting next to. They're servants, they're protectors, they're your neighbors. So on behalf of the department and a grateful heart, I say thank you. Thank you for believing in this calling. Thank you for believing in each other. And thank you for believing in the mission called public safety. So if you would, God bless everyone here. We're going to get this moving on to the next step here. So thank you very much for attending tonight, taking time out of your lives on May 6th to participate in something so special. At this time, I gave a prelude that I was going to recognize some dignitaries, but I'd like to start with the retirees. And if you would, Deputy Chief Wilson, Alex Wilson, would you stand? Thank you. And Lieutenant Dave Juris, would you stand, please? If everyone, give him a round of applause. That those decades of service that I spoke about in that tradition, it started with folks that came here and spent their lives here to build what we have today. So thank you. We have some dignitaries here tonight. I'd like to introduce those. When I ask those to stand, and of course, when it's all done, once I've introduced everyone, could you please give those folks a round of applause too? I'd like to start off with Judge James Plakas, Judge Mike Giroux, Judge Joe Barone, Township Trustee Tanya Genguli, Township Treasurer Diane Slavens, and her husband, Circuit Court Judge Mark Slavens. Township Deputy Supervisor Joseph Halver. We have our fire chief here too, Chris Stockline. Would you stand? And Township Supervisor Anne-Marie Grant-Hudek. Thank you. I'd like to recognize a few other folks that made today what it is. They were able to provide funding to support this. If you would, please, from Foster Swift, our attendees are Courtney Agrusa and Robert Hammer. Would you rise so we can give you a round of applause? Thank you for supporting this today. Also, another donor I'd like to recognize, if you would, Tammy Haggerty. Would you please stand? And our partners in the field, if you would, from Northfield Township, Deputy Chief Matthew McKenzie and Lieutenant Dan Jones. Soon we're going to post the colors and do the national anthem, but I'd like to give a few moments to our township supervisor. She's in her second term, and she's been with us for, I don't know, how many years as a trustee? Maybe, I believe, 8. And now she's in her second term as our township supervisor. So thank you for providing the space and being a great leader for me. So thank you.
Thank you, Chief Chad. Thank you, everybody. So today I was looking at the computer thinking about what I would say tonight, and I looked this up with AI, and I just put in public safety and security. What is it? So public security or safety is the prevention of and protection from events that could endanger the safety and security of the public. Public safety in communities is crucial for ensuring the well-being, quality of life, and overall prosperity of residents. It provides a foundation for people to live, work, and engage in activities without fear or harm. A safe community fosters a sense of security, encourages social interaction, and contributes to the economic vitality and public health of a community. It allows residents to feel comfortable and confident in their neighborhoods, encouraging them to participate in community activities and pursue their goals. I thought to myself, wow, this is Canton Public Safety, Canton PD, and more. I can't tell you how proud the board and myself are of our public safety team. Our police, some of our fire are here today also. I don't have to go far to hear how our officers have helped someone, how kind and thoughtful they are, and how they made someone feel comfortable and safe. In communities as diverse as ours, that's not always the case. Our officers are the ones who get to the scene first, to make it safe and secure and keep people from harm, and it doesn't go unnoticed. At conferences and events I go to across the state, whenever people ask where I am from, Canton Public Safety, Canton PD, Canton Public Safety is well respected and known, a leader in everything we do. And others say how lucky we are. But it's not luck, it's purposeful intention to be who you are. 2024 was an eventful year. Utilizing one of the best police contracts in the state, we were able to bring many up through the ranks, as well as increasing our ranks to the highest number Canton has ever had. We had some tragedies in our community, but lived up to them with grace through the work that you have done with our community and visitors. We'll hear about them in a few moments when the awards start to be given out. But the leadership team in Canton PD have set high standards, and the patrol officers more than live up to them. Our new recruits have chosen the best place to learn how to serve a community. Thank you for all you do. But just take a moment. Could we please have all the new recruits that have joined us in the last 3 years, please stand up. If you could please stand up so we can meet you. Let everybody see who you are. Could I also have stand up everybody who's been here 3 years up to 20? Could you all please stand up? Because we know we're going to see, but come on, stand up, stand up. Thank you for all you do. You've got a great chief, a great leader, and we're so happy to be here. I think this is the biggest. 212 people, you said, right? Let's give that a big round of applause for all the families here to support everyone. Thank you for all you do, and know that it is appreciated by the board and our community every day. And that is why everyone wants to live in Canton. So thank you and congratulations.
It's pretty funny with all the folks here. You're probably wondering where that 0 to 3 are at. Well, they're on the street. Somebody's got actually work today. So, uh, again, thank you for being here. I think the joke of the night. Usually, you're supposed to start with the joke, but I wanted to move into that 2 cents I offered at the beginning. But the joke of the night. One of our secretaries somehow slipped an award in front of me, and I signed my own award. And the best part of it was for good conduct. So the chief gave himself a good conduct award. So it's pretty funny. Yeah. Thank you. So if you would, we're going to post the colors, and we're going to call the meeting to order here, and everyone stand, if you would, for the national anthem. First, we're going to post the colors. Thank you for saying, you can be seated. Thank you, Mary Kay DeBrito. That was beautiful. Thank you very much. If you would, Deacon Pat Conlon, would you come up? Deacon Pat Conlon's been with us for a number of years. He recently entered into retirement from his normal job, and his wife asked me tonight if we could use him as much as possible. Please give him a call. So he's going to do our invocation tonight, so thank you.
The things to do list that she's created in the last month is kind of overwhelming, so I'd rather dispatch call me. So I was looking over some of the notes of things that I've talked about in past years, and I noticed that the last few years I've kind of been a little bit repetitious. And I'm doing it again tonight because to say that we live in unusual times is an understatement. Our society is divided in so many ways, politically, economically, socially. And many people are angry at the system, they're angry at one another, they're angry just because they're angry. And all too often that anger is directed toward those who serve, especially those who serve in law enforcement. And the media is quick to criticize. Even leaders and would-be leaders are quick to point a finger because someone made a mistake, and so everyone is evil. And unfortunately, many people accept this and buy into it. But not tonight. We come together this evening to honor members of this department and to say thank you. I've been associated with the department for almost 13 years, and in that time, I have witnessed so many acts of compassion and kindness, concern for the well-beings of others, and many acts that go far beyond what you would expect. Oftentimes when I'm out at a death scene, I try to follow up with family members in the days and weeks that follow to see how they're doing. And time after time after time, I hear about how gracious the officers were, how kind they were, how comforting they were, how hard the fire department worked to save a life, how much compassion and understanding dispatchers gave them on the phone when they were in a panic. And someone was there with a calming voice to try to reassure them. And unfortunately, these events, these occurrences don't make the evening news. But that's what we're here to celebrate tonight. And with that in mind, we pray. Good and gracious God, we thank you for the gift of this day and for the opportunity to gather together this evening. Help us to be aware and open to your presence among us as we celebrate the achievements of the men and women of this department. We lift up in prayer our families and friends and those in our community who are this day in need. Bless those we have served today, and bless those we will serve tomorrow. We ask you to grant continued success to our efforts, to guide us always, and to help us always be the best we can be. Help us to remember that responding to the needs of others is the highest calling and the reason we do what we do. Remain with us, O God, now and always, and bless this evening's event. Amen.
Thank you, Deacon. Before we get started with the actual awards, I just want to provide context. It all starts with our dispatch area. They handled over 120,000 phone calls in 2024. whether it's in department or from the citizens, for 50,000 police runs that occurred last year. So just keep that in mind. We had around 2,000 plus prisoners that came through our jail cells last year, and they requested help, meaning they're pushing the button because they most likely want to leave, and 9,900 sometimes. So they're very busy, and it all starts there. So as you hear what happens over 2024 through these awards, that's where it starts. So if you would, thank you. If you would, Captain Biley, please take the podium.
Good evening. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Officer of the Year Award to Officer Derek Hatter. Officer Hatter was hired as a patrol officer with the Canton Police Department in June of 2020. During his short time with the department, Officer Hatter has made an invaluable impact on personnel with the department and in the community. He has participated in several special units, including community engagement, FTO, bicycle, recruiting, mobile field force, search warrant team, the awards committee, and most recently, the FBI's Violent Crimes Task Force. Officer Hatter has developed a wealth of information and knowledge through his involvement in these units and his years as a police officer. One of his co-workers wrote, and I quote, "Officer Hatter is the most deserving officer to earn the honor of the Officer of the Year. Police work is a true passion of his, and his hard work over the past year is evidence of that passion. Officer Hatter fills his downtime reading police reports and engaging with the community. This dedication regularly benefits the investigations and activity. Officer Hatter has approximately 30 years of police experience and continues to show up every day, eager and ready to make a difference. He has exceeded all the expectations, has even earned the Iron Badge Award 2 times since joining the Canton Police Department in 2020. Officer Hatter is the true definition of a team player. He is always stepping up to the next task and always willing to help others. He has been dedicated to the community, the Canton Township Police Department, and the police profession as a whole. He has truly impacted the Township of Canton, and it has been an honor and a privilege to serve with him." End quote. In 2024, Officer Hatter responded to 659 police runs, received several citizen compliments, trained 3 new police officer recruits, and mentored countless others. Officer Hatter's compassion, professionalism, and passion for police work have made him a leader within the department and out in the community. Thank you, Officer Hatter. I would like to mention that Officer Hatter won the Ag Yoxt Officer of the Year Award. Officer Yoxt tragically passed away with our department a couple years ago, and his memory has lived on throughout the service of officers like Officer Hatter. In addition, Lieutenant Isle established a scholarship foundation with Plymouth Canton Schools to continue in Ed's legacy. Here today with us is the 2024 scholarship recipient, Chloe Zimmerman, who is in attendance tonight. Thank you, Chloe. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Civilian of the Year Award to Lauren Lalo. Since Lauren began her career here with the Canton Police Department's Record Bureau back in 2019, she has continuously gone above and beyond to not only master daily operations, but to also voluntarily take on additional responsibilities. By the time Lauren was promoted to the position of Support Services Secretary in late 2023, she headed into the new year already wearing many hats, including filling in as the FOIA clerk for the recently vacated position, while maintaining both her existing duties as well as those required in her brand new role. Despite the challenges of maintaining this heavy workload, Lauren continued to produce a quality work product. She took on numerous other projects, including CALIA accreditation, the annual award ceremony, the 5-year strategic plan, resolving carpel system issues between the department and the prosecutor's office, and streamlining numerous administrative processes. Throughout the year, Lauren continued to process discovery orders and subpoenas while assisting the newly assigned FOIA clerk with training and instruction on the complex and cumbersome task of processing FOIA requests. In addition to her assigned duties, Lauren found time to volunteer for the Township's Wellness Committee, numerous leisure service events, and serve as a steward on the TPOAM Union Board. Lauren's enthusiastic work ethic and passion for law enforcement makes her a valuable asset to the organization. Her service this past year has enhanced the effectiveness and the efficiency of our department greatly. Thank you, Lauren.
Outstanding, outstanding. Our next award is a Director's Recognition Award. So I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Director's Recognition Award to Officer Timothy Selesky, if he will come up. Right, all right. Officer Tim Selesky is recognized with the Director's Award for commitment to the Canton Police Department's mission of excellence in service and delivering on creating police omnipresence through active policing. In 2024, Officer Selesky conducted 839 traffic stops, arrested 248 individuals for misdemeanor and felony offenses related to violence, drug possession, traffic safety, and property crimes. These efforts directly contribute to disrupting, displacing, and dismantling criminal activity and poor driving behaviors. He helps reinforce a safe environment for residents, our visitors, and those who work in Canton. His proactive enforcement aligns with the department's commitment to public safety through proactive policing. We extend our heartfelt congratulations and a sincere gratitude to Officer Selesky for his extraordinary service and commendable achievements. Outstanding work, and thank you very much. I have another Director's Recognition Award if Lieutenant Mike Andes, Lieutenant Andrew Colthurst, and Sergeant Adam Falk come up, please. I recognize the outstanding leadership of the Investigative Bureau, whose guidance has propelled their team through some of the most challenging and distressing cases with remarkable results. Under their direction, and with the help of the new Digital Forensics Lab, investigators relentlessly pursued justice in cases involving many of the most serious crimes in our community's history. These included 2 complex murder cases, more than 125 aggravated assaults, over 135 cases of stalking and extortion, and several incidents of operating while impaired that resulted in traffic fatalities. This team's relentless pursuit of justice further demonstrated in their handling of over 50 child abuse cases and neglect cases, and more than 470 fraud investigations, ensuring accountability to those who exploit others. Despite these challenges of a lean staff investigative group, they have worked tirelessly to support the patrol function, which is our backbone of the police department, ensuring seamless collaboration in protecting our township. Their expertise, commitment, and unwavering determination has solidified an environment of excellence, setting a high standard for investigative policing. In recognition of their exceptional contributions to public safety, I extend my appreciation for their tireless efforts in delivering justice for victims of crimes and making a lasting impact on our community they serve. Well done, folks. Thank you very much. Turn the podium over to Kevin.
Good evening, folks. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Iron Badge Award to Officer Josiah Granger. Officer Granger was hired with the Canton Police Department in November of 2023 and soon became one of Canton's most valuable law enforcement officers. Due to his hard work and dedication to the community, Officer Granger earned the department's 2024 Iron Badge Award for responding to the highest number of police runs throughout the year. During Officer Granger's first full year of service, he responded to over 870 calls for service and conducted 147 arrests. Officer Granger not only demonstrates professionalism and commitment to his position, but he also strives to deliver excellent police service to those who work, live, and visit the Canton community. I take great pleasure in commending Officer Granger for his continual commitment to maintaining the department's highest standards and expectations. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Brian Darrow Valued Service Award to crime analyst Megan Stevenson. Crime analyst Megan Stevenson has become a critical resource within the Investigations Bureau. She is frequently tasked with facial recognition and call detail record analysis. She is subject matter expert in the latter and has significantly increased her understanding of CDRs over the past 3 years. Crime analyst Stevenson frequently works with detectives in both minor and complex cases, being an invaluable resource. She makes connections beyond the obvious and often outside the scope of minimum expectations of her position. She is frequently involved in monitoring intelligence bulletins from other agencies. Crime analyst Stevenson frequently makes connections to CPD cases. Finally, she participates in meetings on various cases and provides valuable input that help guide detectives' investigations. Her work on a consistent basis surpasses the required department standards, and her contributions have significantly enhanced the effectiveness and excellence of our department. Thank you. Megan, stay up here for a minute. I would like to now pass the podium over to Lieutenant Mike Andes.
I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Unit Commendation Award to the following: Sergeant Falk, Detective Araj, Detective Burt, Northfield Township Detective Plenty, Detective Culberson, Detective DeLong, Detective LeClaire, and Crime Analyst Stevenson. On May 20th, 2024, officers responded to the Walgreens for a delayed organized retail fraud report. The manager reported that 2 females stole over 200 various face creams, having a value of nearly $2,200. SOG detectives began investigating, and with the help of crime analyst Stevenson, discovered that there was more of an ongoing statewide investigation into this ORC group, as they were stealing thousands of dollars worth of various beauty supplies from Walgreens, and CVS's across the state of Michigan. On May 21st, the Royal Oak Police Department advised that they had 2 females in custody for committing a similar fraud in their jurisdiction. Sergeant Falk and Detective Araj interviewed one of the females who admitted to several thefts, including the Canton thefts. Upon further investigation, SOG detectives found evidence that the 2 females had been visiting a storage unit in Lansing. Detectives secured a search warrant for the Lansing storage unit, and upon execution, investigators located over 2,500 stolen items having a retail value of nearly $165,000. Additional investigations linked the females to 46 thefts across 5 different counties over the course of a 6-day period. The Michigan Attorney General's office secured continuing criminal enterprise charges as well as organized retail crime charges for both females. Congratulations. You guys need to stay up here. Stay up here. You guys need to stay up here. Yep. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Unit Combination Award to Lieutenant Colhurst, Sergeant Falk, Detective Araj, Detective Burt, Northfield Township Detective Clenny, Detective Culberson, Sergeant Kelly, Detective LeClaire, Officer Selesky, and Crime Analyst Stevenson. Officer Porter as well. Scott, are you out there? Late arrival, Scott? Scott, yeah, come on out. Move those long legs. On January 29th, 2024, officers were dispatched to the area of Kopernik Road in Hagerty for a suspicious vehicle. A 911 caller stated that they had heard gunshots and saw a vehicle backing out of the driveway. Shortly after, dispatch received another call stating that there was a vehicle in the middle of the road and a body laying on the ground. Officer Porter was first on scene and quickly assessed the victim, who he determined to be deceased from an apparent gunshot wound. Officer Porter relayed to other units responding that he was going to stay with the deceased until more units arrived and to secure the area. Officer Eli and Officer Selesky arrived shortly after and began searching for witnesses. This case was then turned over to the Detective Bureau. The initial investigations provided officers and investigators with limited information. While with persistence and considerable effort, surveillance footage was found that captured the shooting with the suspect fleeing in an SUV. Over the next 9 days, officers and detectives spent approximately 1,500 hours investigating this case. 26 search warrants were executed, 8 cell phones were examined, 6 call detail records were analyzed, and nearly 550 homes and 85 businesses were canvassed for video. The investigation took detectives across the county in search for leads for this case. Ultimately, it was determined that the homicide stemmed from a road rage incident. The driver of the suspect vehicle was arrested and charged with carrying concealed weapon, possession of a firearm by a felon, and felony firearms. These charges were made possible by the relentless follow-up and the excellent investigative teamwork by everyone involved. Thank you. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Unit Combination Award to Sergeant Falk, Detective Araj, Detective Culberson, Detective LeClaire, and Officer Hussein. On December 17th, 2024, Officer Hussein took a report from an elderly resident who was victimized after receiving a telephone call from a male claiming to be a senior fraud officer with her bank. With a convincing story, the subject requested the elderly victim to withdraw large sums of cash and turn it over to his coworker, who would then show up to her address and pick up the money. The scam was completed on 2 separate occasions over a 4-day period. Just prior to the 3rd attempt, family members noticed an unusual bank activity and contacted the police department for assistance. Officer Hussein was notified by a family member that the subject was set to pick up an additional $25,000 in cash the following day. Detective Fight began investigating and developing a strategy with detectives from the Special Operations Group. to wait at the victim's residence for the suspect to pick up the money. After many hours of surveillance and communication with the suspect, he arrived at the victim's home to pick up the money and was taken into custody quickly. Detective Fight then secured felony charges for false pretenses and resisting and obstructing arrest. Congratulations.
I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Leadership Award to Officer Jessica Nutilla. Where'd she go? We'll come back to that one. We'll come back to that one. We'll just roll with it. It's what we do. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Life Saving Award to Officer Malushi, Officer Singleton. It's all right. On October 23rd, 2024, Canton Dispatch received multiple calls of an injury crash at Ford and Sheldon. Officer Malushi was first to arrive on scene and noticed both vehicles involved to have heavy damage. Officer Malushi approached the first vehicle with a small crowd surrounding the driver's door. He noticed a bystander holding a belt around the driver's leg that was bleeding significantly. Suspecting there may be an arterial bleed, Officer Malushi applied his first tourniquet to the driver's upper leg. Despite the tourniquet being applied, the driver's leg was still bleeding profusely. Officer Singleton arrived on scene with a second tourniquet. Officer Malushi applied the second tourniquet above the first. At this time, the Canton Fire Department arrived and cut the driver's pant leg to reveal a large laceration. The driver was transported to the hospital 3-man for treatment. The victim's injuries required surgery, but after rehab, she was expected to make a full recovery. Congratulations. Good job. Good work, sir. All right, she's back. I take pleasure in presenting the 2024 Leadership Award to Officer Jessica Nutilla. Early in 2024, Officer Nutilla was tasked with evaluating the department's firearms and related equipment and making recommendations for improvement. After completing a considerable review of current equipment and research, Officer Nutilla embarked on a year-long process of acquiring a new firearm system. She spent a considerable amount of time testing, evaluating, budgeting, and purchasing over 120 firearms, holsters, targeting equipment, training equipment, and flashlights. During that time, Officer Nutilla applied and received a grant to assist with the budgeting of the equipment. Additionally, she orchestrated the training of instructors and department-wide training, successfully integrating new technology into the department. In total, Officer Nutilla seamlessly completed the purchase of approximately $150,000 of new equipment, trained over 100 employees, and initiated the sale of over 50 used firearms to current and former employees. While the position of training coordinator carries an administrative workload, Officer Nutilla's dedication while acting in a leadership role exceeded the job description by demonstrating significant leadership during the course of researching, acquiring, and training department personnel for an extended period of 2024 while in a position of responsibility. Congratulations. Take in, and then don't go anywhere. No more bathroom breaks. Stay here. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Certificate of Merit to Officer Jessica Nutilla. What are we doing? On July 4th, 2024, while off duty and traveling home, Officer Nutilla encountered a rollover accident. As she pulled up to the scene, she noticed that the car had crashed into a residence. In a short period of time, the vehicle caught on fire, creating a life-threatening event. Several witnesses stood nearby, awaiting the arrival of West Bloomfield Police and Fire. Upon learning that the driver was still inside, Officer Nutilla immediately took control of the situation. Acting in an official capacity, Officer Nutilla exited her personal vehicle and began directing bystanders to retrieve fire extinguishers to help put out the flames while she attempted to extricate the driver. Shortly after, a West Bloomfield officer arrived and ran to grab his fire extinguisher, only to find that civilians had already put the fire out under Officer Nutilla's direction. Officer Nutilla and West Bloomfield officers worked quickly to extricate the driver of the vehicle and drag him to safety. A subsequent investigation revealed that the driver was highly intoxicated. Officer Nutilla's quick, decisive action upholds the standards placed upon police officers and highlights her dedication to serving the public. Congratulations. Congratulations, Jess. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Life Saving Award to Sergeant Kymig. On April 6, 2024, PSSO Viola received a 911 call for an unresponsive teen male on the basketball court at the Summit. PSSO Viola was able to gather information from bystanders on the court and was told that Summit employees were rendering aid. When Sergeant Kymig arrived at the Summit, Leisure Services employees were doing CPR and had already obtained an AED. Sergeant Kymig took over compressions and was assisted by Officer Hayford. An AED was deployed and shocks were provided prior to the arrival of CFD. The fire department continued life-saving measures and transported the teen to the hospital. After his cardiac arrest, the teen spent 3 months in the hospital. Part of his stay included being on a ventilator. Currently, he is home and recovering well, and he is also able to join us tonight with his family. Obosa is here, if you want to stand, sir, with his family. Come on up. Go, Joe. Stay up here, sir. I will now pass the podium to Lieutenant Mullally.
Good evening. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Departmental Citation to Sergeant Kymig and a 2024 Certificate of Merit Award to Officer Even, Officer Seifert, Officer Singleton, Officer Ryan Sullivan, and a 2024 Unit Commendation Award to Sergeant Falk, Detective Burt, Officer Bentley, Officer McGregor, Officer Zinzer, and PSSO Maurer. On August 10, 2024, Canton Dispatch received a 911 call regarding a shooting that had just occurred in the area of Cherry Hill and Sheldon. PSSOs Ladak, Maurer, and Chiplehovitz Row handled an influx of 911 calls and disseminated all information to responding officers. Sergeant Kymig was the first to arrive on scene less than 2 minutes after the initial dispatch. Upon arrival, he observed the victim laying in the street in front of the house of the suspect. Sergeant Kymig pulled his patrol car onto the lawn of the house to create a barricade between the victim and the residents. He quickly assessed the victim's injuries, relayed the information to dispatch, and requested responding units shut down the surrounding streets. Officers Singleton, Seifert, Prihoda, Even, and Sullivan arrived on scene and provided cover while Sergeant Kymig and Officer Seifert attempted to move the victim away from the scene in a patrol car. Due to the extent of the victim's injuries, lifting him into the car was not an option. Sergeant Kymig, Officer Seifert, and Officer Even decided to carry the victim to a secure location away from the house to be assessed by CFD, while Officers Singleton, Peterson, and Sullivan provided cover. Once the victim was transported to the hospital, all officers returned to the home where the suspect was barricaded. Sergeant Kymeg gave verbal commands via the patrol car PA system for the suspect to come outside. Eventually, the suspect walked outside and was taken into custody without incident. Sergeants Falk and Kymeg, along with detectives Burt, Robinson, and officers Singleton, Cipher, and Peterson, entered the residence and conducted an emergency sweep for additional victims. Detective Fight was able to secure a search warrant for the residence after a 5 hour long of searching. Officer Zinzer located significant evidence within the home. The suspect was charged with first-degree homicide, possession of a firearm by a felon, and 2 counts of felony firearm. Congratulations. Just all stay up here, okay? Stay up there. Yes, that's good. I will turn it over to Director Baugh.
Yeah, this is a little bit of a rare occurrence. I can't remember of a time when this award was given. I take pleasure in announcing that the Chiefs of the State of Michigan gave the 2024 Medal of Honor Award to Sergeant Kymeg and Officer Seifert for their roles in this incident. The Medal of Honor is awarded to an officer who voluntarily distinguished himself by extraordinary heroism. The officer must have been fully aware of the imminent threat to his or her personal safety and have acted above and beyond the call of duty at the risk of his or her own life. This distinguished award is presented to Sergeant Kymeg and Officer Seifert at the MAC Summer Conference in June. So, congratulations.
I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Unit Commendation Award to Detective Holsey. I'm sorry, it's Holsey. I even had a little spelling here. On June 10, 2024, officers were dispatched to Sam's Club for a report of fraudulent use of EBT cards. 2 identified suspects were noticed by Officer Kirby pushing out carts full of Red Bull, and Officer Peterson, Prihoda, and Myers made contact. The males were detained and each provided false identifications and 4 gift cards that they used to complete their transactions. Once fingerprinted, Officer Peterson was able to determine their correct identities. Officers Kirby and Myers stayed on scene to gather evidence and search the suspect's vehicle. In the vehicle were multiple cases of energy drinks, along with a cigarette box full of same vanilla gift cards that were found on the arrestees. Loss prevention advised Officer Kirby that he recognized the 2 males from similar incidents at other Sam's Club locations. Detective Smilo determined that the cards from the truck were holding EBT information that were stolen from other people across the country. Officer Holsey diligently worked on contacting the 12 victims that lived in Canton. Coordination with other agencies linked this group to crimes in Novi, Utica, Roseville, Taylor, Indianapolis, and Texas. Thank you, Detective Holsey. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Life Saving Award to Officer Josiah Granger. On August 30th, 2024, Canton dispatchers received a 911 call from a husband reporting that his wife was unconscious and not breathing. The caller stated the victim was paralyzed and he was unable to move her to the ground. PSSO Mauer suggested the caller try to have the victim lay on the couch in order to begin chest compressions. The caller informed PSSO Mauer that there wasn't a ventilator available and he could use that to help the victim breathe. PSSO Mauer also advised the caller to hook up the ventilator and wait for officers to arrive for help. Officer Granger was first on scene. He was able to move the victim to the ground and immediately began CPR. The Canton Fire Department arrived and was able to detect a pulse. The patient was transported to the hospital and ultimately released. Thank you, Officer Granger. I will now turn over to Lieutenant Isle.
Good evening. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Unit Commendation Award to Officer Selesky and Officer Ryan Sullivan. On October 19th, 2024, Officer Sullivan Selesky met with a woman who was concerned to go home because she was receiving odd calls from her ex-husband, whom she had a PPO against. She requested officers escort her home to ensure her ex-husband wasn't on her property. We have this 911 call.
Canton Police Fire Service Officer Keith.
Hi, I have a request. I have a no contact order due to domestic violence, and I'm just like I'm really nervous about going back to my house right now. My ex just got the ankle monitor off, and I was wondering if I could get like someone to go through the neighborhood to make sure he's not there.
When they arrived at the house, they discovered it had been broken into and a firearm was stolen. The house was checked and empty. Officers discovered the ex-husband's vehicle parked several houses down and decided to search the area around the house. Officer Sullivan noticed a man was crouched down, hiding in the bushes. Both officers gave verbal commands for the suspect to come out, and he was ultimately arrested. We have Officer Sullivan's body camera video.
Let me see your hands. Turn around.
The arrestee requested to speak with Officer Al-Jamali as they are both military veterans. Upon questioning, the arrestee advised Officer Al-Jamali that he buried the gun under the bushes near where he was found. Detective Tauscher was assigned the case and brought the arrestee in to be interviewed. After a lengthy conversation, Detective Tauscher obtained a full confession and a 4-count felony, including home invasion and larceny of a firearm. Congratulations. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Life Saving Award to Officer Selesky and Detective Wasilewski. On July 29, 2024, officers were dispatched to a car versus pedestrian accident on Michigan Avenue. Officer Selesky was first on scene and located an unresponsive woman lying in the road. Officer Selesky observed the severity of the victim's injuries and immediately began CPR. Officer Wasilewski and Al-Jamali arrived on scene and took over compressions for Officer Selesky while he obtained an AED. All three officers took turns continuing life-saving measures until the Canton Fire Department arrived. Ultimately, the victim was transported to the hospital in critical condition. 6 weeks later, the victim was released from the hospital to a rehabilitation center. Congratulations. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Unit Commendation Award to Officer Zinzer and K-9 Tino. On June 16, 2024, all of Charlie Shift responded to a call from a victim stating that her boyfriend assaulted her and fired a pistol in her home. The victim stated her boyfriend had fought with her, then fired the gun into the ceiling of their home. He also pointed the gun at her brother and pulled the trigger. Fortunately, the magazine had fallen out of the gun during the fight, rendering it inoperable. We have this 911 recording.
Canton 911 location of your emergency. Hi. Hello. I left the house. Hi, what's going on there? So, my boyfriend he's drunk and he pulled a gun on me and my brother, and I just left.
While investigating, the suspect jumped out of a window and fled the home. Officers established a perimeter, deployed the drone, and relentlessly searched the area. After an aerial search was unsuccessful, Officer Zinzer decided to check the area with his K-9 partner Tino, and help from Garden City K-9 officers. Officer Graham worked with Officer Zinzer and K-9 Tino to track down the suspect. K-9 Tino led officers to an area west of the home and followed a path along a wooded area until Officer Zinzer observed a male seated in the woods. After a nearly 2.5-hour search, the suspect was taken into custody, and we have Officer Zinzer's body cam footage from that incident.
Let me see your hands right now. Let me see your hands. Hands up. Right on the ground. Right down on the ground. Down on the ground. All the way down.
Just to let you know, the suspect was charged with a 10-count felony, including assault with intent to do great bodily harm. And with that, I'd like to invite Lieutenant Colhurst for the next presentation.
Good evening. I take pleasure in presenting a 2024 Departmental Citation to Officer Zinzer and a 2024 Certificate of Merit Award to Sergeant Zajac, Officer McCammon, and Officer Foreman, and a 2024 Life Saving Award to Firefighter Zajac, and a 2024 Unit Commendation Award to Lieutenant Andes, PSSO Sam McKeeson, Lieutenant Colthurst, Aisha Gilliard, Officer Cheadle, Officer Dunlop, Officer Hatter, Sergeant Johnson, Sergeant Kelly, Officer Ryan Sullivan. On November 24th of 2024, Canton Dispatch received multiple calls of a residence on fire with multiple people trapped inside. Officer Zinzer was first on scene and observed a woman doing CPR on a child in the front yard of the home that was fully engulfed. The female, who was identified as the mother of the children, advised that another child was still inside. Without hesitation, Officer Zinzer entered the front door, but could only advance a short distance as the kitchen had visible flames and the rooms were filled with heavy smoke. He used his flashlight to see further inside the home and observed the hand of a child coming from a TV stand. The father of the child entered the room with a hose and was able to reach his son. Officer Zinzer carried the boy outside the front lawn and began CPR next to Officer Hatter, who had also arrived on scene and was already assisting with CPR on the other children. Officers Foreman, McCammon, and Wilburn arrived shortly thereafter and without hesitation assisted with life-saving measures until the Canton Fire Department arrived. All officers present continued to support the fire department's effort and gather information about the victims and potential cause of the fire. The decision was made to transport all the children to various hospitals immediately. Officer Wilburn stayed on the ambulance to continue CPR during transport. With a chaotic scene and multiple injured victims, Officer Thompson drove one of the ambulances to the hospital while firefighters continued life-saving measures on one of the children. After ensuring all occupants had exited the home, Officers Cheadle, Hatter, Neer, Sullivan, and Warnicki conducted scene security, evacuated neighboring residences, and focused their efforts on emotionally supporting the parents of the children who were transported to the hospital. As the on-scene command officer, Sergeant Zajac made the decision to have patrol officers escort the ambulances due to the severity of the reported injuries. Dispatch Supervisor Kish, along with PSSOs Chiplehovitz Rowe, Sam McKeeson, and Hacker, handled an influx of calls that had many notifications to navigate, including mutual aid responses. They did not delay any tasks and continued to communicate with all first responders involved. The scene was turned over to the Detective Bureau to investigate the circumstances of the fire, with assistance from Officers Dunlap and McNulty, Detective Sergeant Colthurst, Detectives Fight, Johnson, Kelly, Robinson, Smilo, and Tauscher began gathering information from parents, neighbors, and other third parties. Detectives handled the cumbersome and difficult task of responding to the hospitals and advising the parents of the passing of 2 young children. Over the next several weeks, members of the Detective Bureau examined all the evidence, 911 calls, and conducted interviews regarding the fire. If I could please ask all recipients to remain standing, and I pass the podium to Paul.
Yeah, once again, this is very rare, but I do take pleasure in announcing the 2024 Michigan Association of Chiefs Award for the Medal of Honor to Officer Zinser for his role in this incident. The Police Medal of Honor is awarded to an officer who voluntarily distinguishes himself by extraordinary heroism. The officer must have been fully aware of the imminent threat to his or her personal safety and have acted above and beyond the call of duty at the risk of his or her own life. This distinguished award will be presented to Officer Zinser at the MACP Summer Conference in June. Congrats.
It's my pleasure in presenting a 2024 Life Saving Award to Sergeant Anthony Johnson. On February 22nd, 2024, officers were dispatched to a residential structure fire. When Officer Warnicki arrived on scene, he observed a large fire coming from the roof of the home. Dispatch advised there was only one person registered to the home. Officer Warnicki pounded on the front door in an attempt to make contact with the homeowner, but was unsuccessful. As other officers arrived on scene, Officer Warnicki attempted to force entry into the home, fearing that the homeowner was still inside. The homeowner began yelling that she was able to make it to the door, but unable to open it. Officer Johnson arrived on scene, and after ensuring the homeowner had moved away from the door, kicked it in and assisted in escorting the homeowner to safety. If you could please look to the screen to my left to see Officer Johnson's body camera footage.
Come on. Anybody else inside?
My dog.
Any other people?
Due to the quick action of the officers on scene, the homeowner and her dog were safely removed from the Foley and Galt house. And I now pass the podium over to Deacon Pat Conley.
As I mentioned in the beginning, working in law enforcement has never been easy. And in our society today, it seems to be harder than ever before. Many are quick to criticize, but I believe that most in our community truly appreciate the work we do and understand the challenges that you face. With that in mind, let us take a moment to thank God for this time together and for the many blessings we have received, both in our professional and personal lives. Too often we take these gifts for granted and don't recognize the simple joys present every day. And so we pray. Most generous God, we thank you for this evening and for the gifts of family and friends, of community and colleagues. We thank you for the opportunity to serve the people of this community and for our part in making Canton a great place in which to live and work. Every day we have the opportunity to make a difference in the lives of others, and that is truly a blessing for which we are all very grateful. As we have honored the special achievements of members of this department, we ask that you fill each of us with the desire to be the best we can be, and that you give us the grace and strength to make that possible. We lift up in prayer all the needs we hold in our hearts and ask for your blessings on those in our community in the greatest need this day. Most loving God, I ask you to hold all the members of this department close to yourself. Bless their efforts in helping others and return them home safely at the end of each shift. And we offer these and all the prayers of our hearts to you, whose mercy has no limit and whose love is never ending. Amen. And may God bless us all.
Thank you, Deacon. Thank you, everyone, for being here. It's pretty amazing. So at this point, I want to make sure we thank the singer, Mary Ann DeBrito, for a beautiful rendition that was outstanding. And thank you for sharing this night as we remember and reflect upon some amazing stuff as you've seen tonight through the work and service of our officers. At this time, we're going to withdraw the colors, if you would, if everyone would stand up right now. Color guard.
Color guard, hoop! Freeze it, hoop! Color bearers, order, arm. Retreat, color. Order, arm. Left, peace. Counter call, march.
Again, I want to thank the honorees tonight and the families. That concludes the award ceremony. If you would, honorees, please pick up your awards before you go. And again, thank you for everything and all your support. All the families here, have a wonderful night.